Hey, what's going on, guys? You downloaded a brand new episode of Speaking Wrestling with Elvis Arroyo, and I am Elvis Arroyo. This is episode 35, and this week we are speaking Raw, Smackdown Live. Gonna give you guys what to watch, my MVPs and floppers of the week. But before we get started, guys, give you a quick reminder, head on over to our YouTube page, hit subscribe. Also follow us on Instagram at Speaking Wrestling and on Twitter at Speaking Wrestle. You can also email the show at speakingwrestling@gmail.com. And also we have a Cashapp if you want to donate to the podcast at Speaking Wrestling. Don't forget the dollar symbol at the beginning of Speaking Wrestling. Alright, guys, so let's get going with this episode as we get into Raw and SmackDown talk. Raw and SmackDown this week emanated from Manchester. And with that, it's always a unique viewing experience for us over in America who have to watch the shows here as they are taped overseas in Europe as they're a part of their 2-week tour. And let's go back to SmackDown Live, where we saw new tag team champions, The New Day, once again defeating the Revival to become the 7-time SmackDown tag team champions. Kofi Kingston here picking up once again a 7th tag team championship with The New Day. And certainly it doesn't take Kofi Kingston that long to get back on his feet and capture once again another championship. But it does say a little bit about that fall from becoming the WWE champion to where he is now. Kofi Kingston, again, he doesn't fall too far down. I think his title reign will be remembered as a good one rather than a bad one for how it ended. I still think that the way it ended was perfectly fair. But once again, Kofi Kingston here picking up another championship in what was a great tag team match. That's a great match to go back and watch from this past week on SmackDown. Revival and New Day went in there and put on a tag team clinic. We also saw in a very good wrestling match Sasha Banks take on Nikki Cross, and this is a really good match here. They're really giving a lot of time to the women, especially Nikki Cross, with Alexa Bliss being out with an injury. And more time has been given for Nikki Cross to shine. She picks up a loss here to a very game Sasha Banks, who is sporting a new entrance theme sung by Snoop Dogg himself. And I'm really liking this pairing of Bayley and Sasha Banks right now being the two women, the two heels over on SmackDown running roughshod. I like that a lot right now. We also saw the hometown boy of Tyson Fury come back to Friday Night SmackDown, as he really came out here to cut a promo thanking the WWE Universe and thanking his opponent, Braun Strowman, who said he had some unfinished business with him, and that unfinished business was to come out there and give him his respect. Tyson Fury, he's training for his upcoming big-time boxing matches that he's got coming up in February, so he's going to be stepping away from the WWE. Don't know when he'll be back, but man, I gotta say, his promos are great. The way he commands a crowd, and they gave him a microphone to basically go out there and have fun with his hometown crowd. And I gotta say, man, he holds his ground really well. I mean, if this guy really wants to come back, take the training serious, or if not, just be an on-air personality or an ambassador for the WWE. Heck, man, that'd be so amazing to have someone like Tyson Fury. And we wish him the best in his success. His boxing career is not over anytime soon. So the more successful the Tyson Fury name becomes in the boxing world and in the eyes of the mainstream media and pop culture, then it's going to benefit WWE. And, at this point, anywhere he goes, he's a WWE superstar, a WWE alumni. And, and I got to say, if this was his only thing he did in WWE leading up to Crown Jewel, I got to say that he's a future Hall of Famer. I mean, can you really debate me whether he is or not? I mean, we had Drew Carey in the Hall of Fame, and all he did was show up at the Royal Rumble and eliminate himself, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So I think Tyson Fury, for his effort and the story that they told leading up to Crown Jewel, and again, look, future potential to come back and have another run. I mean, it was left in that promo that him and Braun Strowman make better tag team partners than opponents. So if he comes back, maybe a tag team championship run with Braun Strowman. I know Braun Strowman would definitely love Tyson Fury as a tag team partner over Nick. And speaking of tag teams over on SmackDown, we were going to get a tag team match, But this match never got underway with Heavy Machinery out there because they were attacked by Imperium. Yeah, that's right. NXT UK's faction Imperium making their debut here on SmackDown Live as they did a run-in here. And also, they did another run-in on Monday Night Raw. So it's good to see them. And once again, WWE right now being in the UK, incorporating their NXT UK talent that they have there. We also saw Shayna Baszler once again make her way onto SmackDown and onto Raw. She has some unfinished business with Becky Lynch, and then over on SmackDown, once again, an ambush on Bayley and Sasha Banks. So Shayna Baszler coming into WWE, showing her strength, showing her force, showing that she's not one to mess around with. Definitely making a great opponent for Becky Lynch, as Becky Lynch is the man. And right now, with the WWE wide open for anybody to grab that brass ring, Becky Lynch seems to be the only one leading the charge. So, good matchup there. Don't forget about Bayley. I know I keep thinking, like, is Shayna a heel or face? Because when she's attacking, the heels on SmackDown, it makes her a face. But when she shows up on Raw and attacks Becky, she's, the top heel on the company, women and men's side. But once again, it's building up to a great match, a triple threat. Don't forget about Bayley in that Survivor Series triple threat match. I look forward to that one. And SmackDown cannot go without being talked about with the great storyline right now that is being portrayed between Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn, and now we've added Cesaro into the mix because Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro were in action this past week on SmackDown as they took on Ali and Shorty G in a tag team match, which also had the assistance of Sami Zayn because he's out there accompanying them, but invited Daniel Bryan to come out and catch a sneak peek of what it would be like if he acquired the services of a Sami Zayn and join the ranks of Shinsuke Nakamura. And at this point, it looks like they're incorporating Cesaro into the mix. And of course, Daniel Bryan went out there and had a peek at the match, and Sami Zayn working his magic, assisting Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro to pick up a victory here. Very smooth. I gotta say, all four guys in this match play their role very well, and Sami Zayn, so 5 technically there, play their role very well. I mean, it really seemed like these guys were just clicking on all cylinders, in which, once again, which is why I believe WWE, the way that they work on television, there is a style to it, but there's a style that there's urgency, and there's not 1 second where you really feel that there's this dead airspace in between matches, in between maneuvers, or anything like that. Everything is done with a purpose, and this is a great example of when guys go out there, hit their spots, and it looks so smooth that you forget that they're out there basically choreographing an entire match before your eyes and counting the spots or whatnot. It doesn't come out like that. It comes out as very smooth transitions and very believable. So I like that a lot. And also, we did not get the last of it because Daniel Bryan's answer to whether what he saw was good for him or not backstage, Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan were talking in Daniel Bryan's locker room, only to have the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, the new WWE Universal Champion, attack Daniel Bryan and give him the mandible claw here. Very odd. I mean, you can look into this and think, are we going down a Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt storyline? It makes sense because Daniel Bryan is a top superstar, and there's a history between Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. And of course, we can't forget about their match at the Royal Rumble 2014, which was a classic between those two. So if you go down the path of Daniel Bryan challenging for the Universal Championship, I think that's a good story there. However, I think this might only be a 1-week angle. Maybe this might be setting up to where Daniel Bryan could use the backup and the help of Shinsuke, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn in a situation like this. Maybe he would have never been attacked by the Fiend if there was more people around him. So maybe let's not buy in right away to the fact that this might just be a Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt angle, because I hope not, because then I just think that, it might take away from what they've been building with this whole tease of Daniel Bryan joining Shinsuke and Nakamura to form this new faction. I would love them to go in that direction. I think Bray Wyatt could stand alone on his own right now without a title. I don't think he needed the championship. I think once again the championship is put on someone very strong that defeating them hurts the character losing the title, and I think it just makes everybody look bad. Again, it puts everybody in that Seth Rollins Bray Wyatt situation here. And again, this is again with Daniel Bryan. He's a very strong babyface. Putting him in that spot with someone else that you're trying to push as your babyface, or I don't know at this point. They might be trying to push Bray Wyatt heel, but he is so somewhat of a attraction. The fans aren't going to want to boo him just yet. But I think if they put him against a very favorable babyface like Daniel Bryan, who the fans to not cheer for him and support Daniel Bryan, going up against someone else who you expect to be a fan favorite like the Fiend Bray Wyatt here. So once again, I like everything that's going on right now with Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke, and Sammy. This whole Fiend thing, I think once again, it's going to get caught in some crosshairs and it's going to fuck everything up. So I think let's stay out of that. Hope it's just a 1 week thing. I think Bray Wyatt at this point, he has some bigger fishes to fry. I think if there's someone that he can definitely go out, if you want to put him in that babyface role or whatever, I think right now he should be going after guys like Baron Corbin. And speaking of Baron Corbin, oh man, I really wish the Fiend would go after him, especially during that opening promo of SmackDown. I wasn't really going to mention this, but I have to mention this. My goodness, such a terrible promo, and it had Vince McMahon written all over. I mean, with the Chihuahua bark, and then the image on the screen with the dog barking, and then the poop bag reference. It's a Vince McMahonism all the way written all over that promo, and of course it's Baron Corbin. He's their guy. He's Vince's and top management's boy toy to go out there and be their heel. And quite frankly, for Vince McMahon to live vicariously through a heel like Baron Corbin, to go out there and subliminally spread his messages to the WWE universe through Baron Corbin. But yeah, I just thought that this promo was just terrible and horrific, and once again, an example of as to why promos like these to start off a show do no good for the company, especially if you're tuning into Fox with all the hype that WWE gets, through their promotions on Fox, and you tune in to think, all right, I'm going to watch this show. I haven't seen wrestling in a long time, or maybe your first time watching, and you tune into a Baron Corbin promo like that. It just makes you want to forget you even had any interest in professional wrestling. I mean, it really was one of those promos that I was literally hoping that no one would tune in to watch this and say, this is what Elvis watches? Really? This shit? I mean, I was having TNA flashbacks there, hoping that, people that know me aren't tuning in to the one thing that I like, and they tune into TNA and it's a shit show, and then they think that professional wrestling is shit show, which it could be sometimes. And god damn it, this opening promo, perfect example of when wrestling can be bad, or can it? Because if that wasn't bad enough, let's move on over to Raw and talk about that Lana Rusev Lashley promo. Actually, I'm not, because this was horrific. I'm just going to say that they should have really thought about that promo before Lana cut it, because she either didn't remember her lines or went off there. It was long and very repetitive and very awkward. I think there could be a different way of exploiting all three of these people's sexual activities in the past year or so, than going out there with a live mic and presenting this as like a story, or as a very intriguing promo when it wasn't. This was supposed to be letting out your dirty laundry, but they did it in a way that, hey, let's get everybody microphones and let's stand in the middle of the ring to the hard cam and present this. It looked like just so, I mean, not even a high school play is this bad. as this promo and this segment was. And I've been praising these three because I'm happy for the success that they're getting, and I'm happy for them getting an opportunity to do something more than what their character was doing the previous year or years. And here they had a big opportunity. They're making noise with this storyline here, whether you love it or hate it. People are talking about it, and it's trending. But man, did they like fall on their fucking face this week with this story angle. I mean, it really bombed. And look, I get it. I love the innuendos. Don't get me wrong. I love the direction they're going. I love the adult narrative that they're putting into the storyline. I do. I love this a lot. I mean, it's what we've been asking for, people, right? But fuck, man, this was horrific. And I'm gonna move on from that because this isn't a show to shit on the show. This is a show to talk about the show. And Monday Night Raw was typical once again. Not that intriguing. It felt like a Monday Night Raw from maybe about a month ago when it really wasn't good. They kind of were, picking up once again some steam with the audience. And the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking, whoa, Raw is really turning it around. But I think this one was a step back. Whether it's them being in Europe, whether it's the fact that the show's taped, and the fact that they taped Raw and SmackDown on the same day. So you were actually watching Raw after people had already been sitting for 3 hours for SmackDown, and then they go straight into another 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, well, without the commercial, so it's like 2 hours. So people were in that arena for roughly 6 hours watching SmackDown and Raw and all the pre-show matches. So yeah, I mean, definitely the intensity, the overwhelming feeling in the arena was felt through the TV. But it was up to WWE to put on a show on Monday night, and they put on an okay show. We saw a 6-man tag, which featured the OC taking on Humberto Carrillo, Ricochet, and Randy Orton. A very strange pairing. It seems like WWE is turning the leaf with Randy Orton and turning him back a babyface, and it might be the fact that they need some star power, or the fact that this might be a great time to turn Seth heel. I think a turn for Seth Rollins at this point, it definitely might be a good timing. Randy Orton turning face, I don't know about that. I mean, they're telling a story with Ricochet and Randy. You're not really sure if Ricochet is going to trust Randy, or you don't really know what Randy's intentions are with a young guy like Ricochet who's a rookie at this point. So there's a story there about a rookie and a veteran like Randy Orton. But again, I think they're really just I think they're really just testing out whether Randy works as a babyface or as a heel. I mean, when he's a heel, he still gets great pops as a babyface. And when he's a babyface, he gets great pops as a babyface. I mean, it's Randy Orton. He's a legend. I mean, he's been around for so long, and regardless whether what storyline he's in or not, the guy looks cool. He's got a great moveset. I mean, everybody loves the RKO. I mean, you can definitely tell that everybody loves the RKO because watching AEW's Full Gear, I must have seen like 7 RKOs. And I hate that because it's just like an RKO, and yeah, whatever. It's just an RKO. Not going to even go for the cover. Not even going to sell it either. So I wonder how Randy feels about that. It's no wonder he trolls all these indie wrestling fans and AEW fans. It's because they're fucking him over, stealing his move. All right, guys, it's time for What to Watch. This is where I give you guys what to watch for the week. And since we are leading up to Survivor Series, and I've been thinking, what kind of Survivor Series can we go back and watch? Or give you guys something to watch that you guys might be entertained still. Some of the Survivor Series aren't always that great. It's one of those big 4 events that gets forgotten about. I mean, at this point, Money in the Bank is the new 4th, but tradition is tradition, and Survivor Series is one of the longest reigning pay-per-views that they have as, again, part of the big 4. I'm going to go with Survivor Series 2011. And why I go with 2011, this is a good show. And this show came live from Madison Square Garden. You had Dolph Ziggler defending the championship against John Morrison in his last WWE match, but with the rumors going around that he is back in WWE, I think this might be a good match to go back and see, especially with Survivor Series coming up. You never know. He might be a good addition to any Survivor Series team at this point, or just come in at Survivor Series. So that's a good matchup there. This also featured CM Punk defeating Alberto Del Rio for the WWE Championship. And very important, why is this match very important? It's because this is the night that CM Punk started his long-lasting reign of WWE Champion, which went for the entire year of 2012 into 2013. And again, guys, we are speaking November 2011, and he didn't drop the title till January 2013. So great match here. Also, great cameo from Howard Finkel. And also, this featured The Rock's first in-ring action since WrestleMania 20 in the same building in Madison Square Garden, as he teamed up with his opponent at WrestleMania 28 that upcoming year, John Cena, to take on the Awesome Truth. Yeah, you remember that? Awesome Truth, R-Truth, and The Miz were this rebellious, hard-ass tag team to take over WWE at the time, the new two-man power trip, because I guess, the whole Triple H and Austin two-man power trip, never really lasted more than just 1 month. So two-man power trip 2.0? No, not really. But good stuff. I love this show. This is definitely one to go back to. I remember the lead-ups leading up to this pay-per-view and all the promos on Raws. Man, good stuff here. So once again, Survivor Series 2011. Go back and check that out. And now it's time for our MVPs and floppers of the week. This is where I give you guys my MVPs for the week. My MVPs for the week, like I said it throughout the show. The things that Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, and now Cesaro are doing over on SmackDown. Man, it's got me so intrigued. I love it. It's probably one of the best storylines right now that isn't included with the whole Survivor Series tag. There is no bullshit to it. It's just a great story to right now to look into. So that's my MVP, all those guys. And my flopper of the week, I mean, how could it not be this week? The biggest flop of the week, if not maybe the year, Lana. Yeah, that's right. Just Lana, because I think her promo was a little bit too long, and I think she might have fucked up her lines. So I'm going to go with Lana on this one. And with that being said, guys, I want to give you guys a big thank you for joining me on another episode of Speaking Wrestling. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at Speaking Wrestling and over on Twitter at Speaking Wrestle. And we'll be back this Friday with episode 36 for AEW and NXT Talk. And also, I'll be having my AEW Full Gear recap right in that show. So be sure to tune in for that one, guys. And have a great wrestling week, and we'll do it again Friday for episode 36. Bye-bye.